And it's just a short little tidbit so that every student, no matter what type of programming they're involved in, across all of the different programs, including the out of school time folks with OCF, but also PPR, can participate in this game on Philly. They're also leveraging relationships with the local sports teams to have some guest appearances by some of our local sports heroes. And really just want everybody to be aligning themselves with a little wellness activity every day. The app is going to be ready by the time everyone gets started, and they are working to get some kind of materials sent home to children or program sites that are things like, I don't know this for sure, but something like a yoga mat, jump rope, something that can be used for all the different activities that they're going to have. So they are working to fundraise and grab some additional support and get us materials to go along with the activities. No one's going to need no one's going to need anything to participate, but it'll be great to have a little extra for the students at home and at program. We have presentations from the collaborative, Philadelphia Sports Collaborative. To learn more about that, you can attend that session. We have the health department who's going to be sharing some of their initiatives around I think it's Get Healthy Philly, and things like cooking classes and food. We also have a Parks and Rec session, and getting to know your park. So these are 3 different health and wellness collaborations that we're really excited to share content. There's a lot of grab and go activities. There's a lot of grab and go content. There's video. There's just so much that folks are going to be able to use. The second area, we love to talk about STEM, and STEM is actually, there's a ton of stuff out on the internet, and we are going to share what we have found during that session. And we're really excited about that, as well as a partnership with the American Institute of Architects, who is potentially going to be sending out some kits where students can work on building projects. ASAP is going to be supporting any and all providers with chess. They're also going to be doing a handful of other projects, including a drama theater program, and Scrabble and debate. And they're going to be presenting this week as well. And you can learn more about what they have to offer, as well as jump into the STEM session and grab a ton of ideas about different resources, as well as meet the folks at the American Institute of Architects, AIA. Creative Performing Arts, we have a handful of providers who are going to be creating or have created virtual lessons and lesson plans. So grab and go content, really exciting art classes from Fleischer. They will be divided by age. So you'll have an early elementary option, an older elementary option, and a middle school option. ASAP's Drama Club is also doing something very similar. And Hip Hop Fundamentals is going to be offering some dance videos as well as activity takeaway lessons. Each of these folks are going to be on hand this week, and then also before you jump into summer camp, to help your group leaders or help you to transition these activities into whatever platform you decide. So there's going to be a lot of support and learning to grab this content and customize it and make it work for your families. We have some literacy resources to share out for the elementary folks, and we'll be covering everything from what the OCF early literacy team is going to be working on, as well as the Summer of Wonder virtual with the free library, and some Read by Fourth resources. And then, of course, our middle schoolers, we have not forgotten about that high school application process, and the folks who have been supporting that, there'll be some sessions on that next week as well. So we have a lot on the plate, and what we really wanted to do was offer you all the options and let you pick what you think is going to work for you. We are really excited about all the different, content that we have found, but we also know that you have found some great stuff as well. And so we're excited about these partnerships and for everyone to learn a little bit more about them during this kickoff over the next couple of days. All right, I'm going to hand it back to Naomi.
Hello, everyone. Is there a bit of an echo? Okay, there we go. Okay. Is there still an echo? Okay. I'll just give, hi, everyone. My name is Naomi Robertson Reed, and I am the training manager for OCF-OST. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the summer conference and kind of, you know, why we're doing this. As Anne talked about, the theme for the summer and for the rest of the year is health and wellness. You know, we've all kind of been through a lot over the past couple of months, and we realize that we really can't get to the fun stuff of summer camp without addressing some of those social, emotional, and health and wellness needs from our students and for staff as well. We have to kind of confront some of that. So the first day of our conference will be focused on that health and wellness. So providing you with some ideas and resources on how to really meet the needs of your students and your staff. So our first session will be with Get Healthy Philly, promoting healthy living practices. We also have a provider self-care lunch and learn, and then we have our Philadelphia Parks and Rec at home. So it's kind of just creating this holistic approach to health and wellness. If you are eating well, you feel better. If you're going outside and kind of doing some type of physical activity and getting out into some of our lesser known parks in a very responsible and socially distanced manner, you're feeling better about yourself and you feel good. You're getting some of that fresh air from our wonderful parks and trails. You're eating right, you're doing all of that stuff. And that really creates, again, this really holistic approach to how you feel mentally and physically. So the first day is really going to be focused on that and helping you guys kind of figure some of that out. And then the second and third day, we're getting into the meat of all of it. So tomorrow, we're going to be doing the Visual Arts Initiative with Fleischer. We're going to be doing kind of a follow-up to our communities of practice that we had last Friday for supporting students and staff through some of the recent uprisings that we've had over the past couple of weeks and years. We also are going to be doing a STEM resources workshop, as Anne said, with AIA Philadelphia, and kind of sharing some of the STEM resources that our staff have found for you guys. And then we're going to be going into to the collaborative and their game on Philly. So again, as Anne said, we're really creating some of this grab and go content that will be available to you all during the summer. Friday, we're going to be doing a workshop for our elementary school model around early literacy resources. And then we have a really cool workshop called the Developing Brain, Adversity and Learning. So this workshop is really, again, going to be focused on some of the kind of trauma and stress that our children have been going through and staff over the past couple of months and how we can address those needs. These conversations are going to be an ongoing process for us. It doesn't stop and end with this conference. We're going to continue to talk about this. Again, you know, we've been kind of at home and figuring all of this out for 4 months. So it's going to take longer than 2 sessions to kind of figure out how we work with our students and meet the needs of our students with that. So everybody received calendar invitations if you registered, but I'm also going to put the registration links in the chat box for you all. So if you have staff that weren't able to register by yesterday, they can still hop on the meeting with the meeting link. So I will put that in the chat box now. And that's it for me.
All right. Thank you, Naomi. That was a beautiful description of how it all connects together. So thank you. Yep. And a special thank you to Naomi for figuring out how to organize all of this and coordinate all the pieces. Thank you so much. You did a fantastic job, and we're so excited that we have something to share out with all of the folks who are going to be working with our young people this summer. All right. So virtual or in person? That is the question. I
Oh, I'm
know.
sorry, and real quick. That was what I wanted to say. So with the workshops, the one thing that we really wanted to focus and talk to our facilitators about is how can these programs or this grab and go content translate between virtual and in person. So a lot of the content that you will see over the next couple of days can be translated either way. Okay, that's it.
That's perfect. And the partners know that you may want to do one day of art and do like 4 lessons, or maybe you want to do art every day at 10 o'clock and you want to do that for 30 minutes each week or each day for a week. We know that if you are doing in person, that it's a single person working with that same group. And in the past, camps, children go to different classes and there's different experts. So this is a big shift in terms of planning. And so we wanted to set up the in-person folks for success in terms of providing these videos and lessons that they can grab and go, as well as the virtual at-home folks who are going to be delivering this content through the computer or iPad or whatnot. So carrying that lens with you throughout the next couple of days, I think there's a lot of opportunities to think about. If you haven't decided already, you can apply any of this partnership and any of this work into either the virtual or in-person platforms. I know that many folks have decided and many folks have not. So we understand that that is still happening. And we're hoping that folks can decide by Friday so we can start to activate the supports for both that at-home learning and the in-person. So, we've been collecting a little bit of information as over the last couple of weeks on what seems to be working. And so I wanted to share out a few of the tips that seem to be working well for some of the providers. At home, for the virtual platforms, the relationships that OST is known for are still extremely important. Folks who have had consistent adult relationships, the students are tuning in because they know and miss the caring adults. They really miss the adults and that time with the non-parent to talk to and connect with, and that relationship still continues to be a really essential part of virtual OST at home. Time with peers. They are excited to see each other. They miss each other. They're over whoever is in their house with them, and they enjoy connecting in any little way with their peers. So those relationship things that OST is so good at still translate into this virtual platform. Structured to the day. So reliable activities with the same start time and some structure. Even though they say they don't like structure, they really do like structure. And knowing that art class is every day at 10 o'clock, or activity of the day or wellness activity of the day is at 9 or 11, they will tune in to that knowing that they have that consistency in terms of what time things are happening. What we're hearing is that 30 minutes is kind of the cap time for the online. They start to lose focus after 30 minutes, and so what we have heard from you telling us that like a 10-15 minute video or a lesson, and then 10-15 minutes of activity related to that lesson seems to be sort of the sweet spot. And we're going to get into that a little bit later with some of our program liaison team, who will share out some ideas for schedules and calendars. Engaging activities. We know this, but it's just a reminder. Dynamic content that kids want to do. They want to do art. They want to do building. They want to have physical activities. Karaoke. I think we were on a call and someone was telling us about sort of like scavenger hunts in like a virtual platform, like go find this, something purple and round, and just anything that is really what they want, and then asking them what they want to do regularly within the confines of what you're offering. Those are what we're hearing from you that the students really like. Program supplies and care kits sent home. Sending things home has been extremely effective in increasing engagement, attendance, and accountability. We're hearing from you that families are like, well, I mean, they sent me all this stuff. I should make sure that the kids are tuning in, and or the students are so excited about the supplies. They want to know what the activity in the lesson is that's connected. And even something as simple as a postcard can increase the engagement and attendance. Folks, the kids like to know that you're thinking about them. It means a lot, and anything that comes through the mail has been a real treat. Communication, before you had to communicate. Now it seems like there's so much extra communication, from postcards to text messages, packages, calls, emails. The layers and layers of communication is what we're hearing from you work the best with the families. Even daily communications, which is challenging, but it is what we're hearing from you that is the most effective. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're hearing for tips for in-person. And folks who were here last week, we had the introduction from the health department liaison, who really shared a little bit. And this is sort of consolidation of what she was saying, as well as what we have heard from some of the guidance. Preparation is essential. Saving lots of staff time for things like prepping space and cleaning space, and the debrief is going to be even more important as the pioneers in this group go into the in-person programming. Space, make space your partner. This is my favorite thing to do, is set up the room to ensure it's exactly how you want it, rather than having the kids set it up the way you want it. If we know that we need space in between them, but we can also set up where like they're looking. You can set up circles. You can really create your own environment and use the props that you have. There's things like spray chalk that is out there, cones, tabletop signs, anything that you can, using zip ties to hold signage in place on fences. Like, you really get into your physical space recreation, because you do have so many rules. You can't put it in one place. It's like you have to put it in 10 places for people to really hear it. And I think that all of us have started to see how grocery stores are doing that and how they've evolved and gotten better with that. Supplies, individual supplies, storage, and labeling. This is going to be a really big time for that label maker if you have it, or the good old-fashioned Sharpie. Just making sure that students have their own supplies is going to be an essential part of in-person. Same thing as with virtual, engaging activities. They want to do the things that they want to do, and you are the best at supporting that. So keeping the content really engaging on things they want to do. PPE supplies, this has come up a lot. We are partnering with PHMC to hopefully, keep the fingers crossed, obtain masks, gloves, and hopefully some disinfectant. We know that this is a big issue that's been coming up with concerns, and so we are trying to figure out a way to address it. And I think more on this will be at the executive directors meeting. Communication, clear agreements ahead, and then even daily text updates. I know that folks are pretty anxious, and as kids get back into program, the more communication, the better. And I think everyone appreciates it. Even if it is, hey, this didn't go as well, we're going to change it and do this instead. I think parents and staff and kids really appreciate that. Everyone is a little bit on edge in terms of feeling comfortable. So it's going to take a little bit of that extra communication. Health department is your friend. Apparently, you can call them with any question and they will tell you what they think. And we got a PowerPoint last week with the name and the number for literally anything. Anything. You can call them about anything and they will give you their thoughts. So I didn't realize that. It's such a great resource, and we're really excited to be able to have a direct line to the health department. So we will be sending that number out to any of the folks who do choose to do in person, and make sure that you have that resource as well. Right, so I'm going to hand it over to our colleagues, Megan and Kiera, who are going to talk through some of these ideas and examples. I think we're going to do virtual programming first, and then we'll jump into in person. How's that sound, ladies?
Great.
I'm going to pull up your session.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank
Good
you.
morning. Good morning.
Good
All right,
morning.
this is-
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean
morning.
to want to mute. Thank you guys for saying good morning back to me. I'll probably get in trouble later. All right, so we have a couple of these to run through. So if we're going too quick, just kind of post something or raise your hand and let us know. But these are just samples that we're going through. And the first one that we're going to go through is just the partners only one. So we created this one to just focus on the partners that Ann already went through. And as you can see, oh, well, the time is missing, Ann, but it's okay. I actually opted to start a little bit later in the day, in the morning. So some of my experience was just that people were a little bit sleepy in the morning sometimes. So mine started a little bit like 9:30, kind of getting them going. And then the main content started around 10. But the timing is totally up to you. So in this schedule here is kind of a simple one where you have like a circle time. Some people do Harambe, a show and tell, just kind of getting everybody getting going. Then we did some art. You can see at the zoo. The next day we did theater and drama, and then also our literacy team and the library will be helping out with literacy games. So that kind of takes some of the weight off of you. I'm sorry, I also have a family that does not respect my meetings. So if you hear them all over the place, I apologize. Also, we have the Be Your Own Architect as well. One second, Mom, can you not turn the microwave on, please? Thank you, I'm in a meeting. I told you guys, I'm so sorry. Then we have Hip Hop Fundamentals, and then we have Lunch and Listen. So this is something that I thought was pretty effective. If you do lunch or breakfast or something like that with your group and also do a read aloud, or you do some literacy questions or something like that, it kind of allows some time together and also some time to really dig into some literacy. And you can do that every day. And it's just one consistent that kind of goes throughout their week. Also, we have ASAP doing some arts and Scrabble. You can do chess in there if you feel like they're okay with that. And our level, which isn't showing, I'm sorry, and it kind of cut off. But this level that we chose was K through 3. But we also have lessons up until middle school. We have some for high school as well, if you want us to share those with you. Oh, wait. Okay, my schedule went off the screen. I'm sorry. The last thing that I put down there was a chat. I'm sorry, to choose. Is it, Ann, can it come back up? Okay. You see it down there? Okay, thank you. It's just like a chat and choose. It's just like maybe like a snack time, but time where you can actually do some reflection and talk with your team about what they would like to have the next day. So it's always good to kind of start off and get them energized and then end the day with just some reflection and then some kids' choice to allow them to know that they're a part of the program planning as well. And I'm sorry, there was a hand raised somewhere.
Megan, I was going to ask, how much time did you think would work with the virtual? Were you going on 30-minute blocks, or did you change it up based on the activity?
No. I followed exactly what your directives were in terms of the research with the 30 minutes. I don't know why it's not showing. So each of these blocks of times are just 30 minutes. That's it. And what we talked about is, let's just take art. One of the things that we said is it might be like 15 minutes of the lesson total. So then we would have time to build in the front and then time to build some in the end of the lesson as well. But these are all just 30-minute blocks. Oh, Elaine, I'm sorry. Elaine has a question. Elaine, are you there? Okay, on my side, I have it that a hand is being raised. by Elaine, but if not,
Megan, you have another hand. Siobhan.
okay. You're on with
Hey
Megan.
guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the questions that we were asking were what are our operational hours? Like what, like how long should we be implementing the program?
No, oh, Anne, are you jumping in? I was going to say, when you're asking about it, are you meaning about the day, the week, like how many hours per day, per week? Is that the question? I just want to make sure that we're clear.
Yes.
Okay. So what we geared up for the virtual side is like 8 to 15 hours a week. That's what we did in terms of planning out the schedules. Mine just was a little bit more lengthy. I just took one that was a little longer, and Kiera's is a little bit shorter. We just want to give you a whole bunch of different variations. This is not the end all be all. This is the schedule that is built for whatever works for you and your youth. It doesn't have to look like this at all. Mine is just a more lengthy example.
Yeah, and I think that Megan's showing we will set out that minimum, but it doesn't have to be the minimum. It can be, you can design whatever number of hours works for your team. This also is heavier on the structured activities. That's sort of we like structured activities. So it's gonna reflect that a little bit more, but it's up to each provider to really craft their own. And so these are just examples.
Yes, you hear us say all the time, you're the experts. So you know your youth and build it out as needed. One of the reasons that we talked about just doing a partners only one was just because it's a lot to take in at one time. So we wanted to make sure that we had an offering that would allow your team and group leaders just a minute to kind of step back and say, okay, we have these partners and let's utilize these partners. That's one of the reasons it's all partners on there as well. And then if you, was there another question? Kiera, you said that there was another one, or?
So no, I think Siobhan was the other person.
Okay, all right. And then the second option here, same thing. The time is missing, but we did 30-minute increments again. And is there anywhere to make that a little bigger? Maybe not.
No.
It's okay. So basically, it's kind of like the same content, but what we did with this one was that we allowed, we did our partners and our providers, kind of a mesh. So like you build it however you would want it to go. So we do have our art. We have the hip hop fundamentals. We have the architecture programming. We added like a STEM program called like Weird Science, where you might be able to do some fun experiments with the kids or something along that line. I think I added cooking. So cooking was really popular, and gardening. Gardening I thought might be just a little bit more tricky sometimes when you're dealing with K-3 in a virtual setting. So I just opted to add in some cooking. Another lunch and listen. So same thing, bring everyone back together. Let's fellowship and eat together and do some literacy together, and so it can feel fun. We also did Game on Philly. You'll see, just again, in my experience, sometimes if you get them excited for the sports, which often they are looking forward to the sports a lot, they tend to kind of stay in line until that end and be excited for that. So I did put that programming at the very end, hoping that they would stay with me throughout to get to that program. And then again, the chat and choose. I'll speak for myself. I just think it's really important to let them feel like they're still a part of the program and picking out the programs for the next day or the next week or rewards, things like that. So kind of like the same thing, but it's just plugging in parts of your own program and also leaning on the partnerships as well. Are there any questions about the schedule? No.
Thank you, Megan. This is great. And just folks, we're going to send these out through the program liaisons. We just wanted to give you a sense of what you would be getting. And prepare you to sort of like when you get it, you understand a little bit more of the context of what we're thinking. This is not a requirement. This is just some draft ideas about different ways to organize virtual summer programming at home.
And one thing, also please like use your PLs as well. Like we have tons of versions of these schedules, and as Ann said, we'll send them out. And they have a ton of expertise in terms of plugging in awesome, programming ideas.
All right, you ready to move to the next one?
Yep. So, and I believe you're going to skip one.
Okay.
Yep. So skip this one. All right. So our in-person summer schedule, this is a partnership only schedule. And this is for 5 hours a day. So realistically, when the kids come in, we want them to sign in, sanitize. For Monday, we do read alouds. So we'll call that books and breakfast. So the idea is that when the kids come in, they'll eat and they'll be able to listen to a read aloud to kind of maximize our time. So if you can see from 10 a.m. to 10:30, we have art with Flesher. So this schedule gives you the links for the websites for each of the partnerships. So Art with Fletcher and Ann kind of went through all of the partnerships that we have. So they can do art, then drama, game on Philly, and then sanitize, and then snack. So ideally, we want to make sure they're getting a snack or a lunch. So that will be the time to do that at the end of the day. For Tuesday, again, sign in, sanitize. We're going to do their literacy early in the day. This time we'll do books and breakfast, but they'll be playing like literacy games. Be your own architect, game on Philly. There's some activities with the zoo, and again, sign in, sign out, snack, and sanitize. Same thing. So our first session would be for literacy, so there'll be another read aloud, art, dance, game on Philly. So we kind of switched up. Game on Philly would happen every single day, but we kind of switched up the times depending on whether it was Monday, Wednesday, or Friday.
Kiera, Shane has his hand up, just so you know. With
Is at the door. Shane?
Yes, sorry. It was just a question that I had in the chat. I don't think it's possible after thinking about it, but I just wanted to know for specialized camps or any camp really, is it possible to use unused funds from the school year for the summer to kind of be able to extend instead of doing 2 weeks, maybe doing 4? I know that there was a question about funding, but with unused funds happening throughout the school year, it would be possible for us to do that.
I'm going to just jump in. That is a contracting question. So we're going to save contracting questions for the executive director meeting at 1. I know that folks were not able to access, they had to draw down each month, whatever they were drawing down. And I know that the city of Philadelphia is in a deficit. And so the quick answer about anything that wasn't spent went into in most cases has gone back into the city budget. But if you want to email that question for you specifically as it relates to specialized to Megan, and then she'll send it along to Karis if it doesn't get answered at the ED meeting.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Yeah.
So this schedule kind of reflects consistency. We all know that that's what the kids are looking for. Yeah, so it's pretty simple, and this is a partnership only. Are there any questions about the partnership only schedule?
Yes. What do you mean when you say partnership only?
So Ann mentioned a list of partnerships in the beginning. So we have
Yes.
ASAP and Flesher. So this would be a schedule where you would be able to provide, they're pretty much going to provide the lesson for you.
Okay.
And you would just have to implement it with your children. So as Megan said, maybe the drama's lesson would be 15 minutes, and then the other 15 minutes would be you working with your children.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Can I jump in real quick?
Sure.
Also, just like Kira was saying, it's just like the focus needs to also be like really getting the kids to be present there, though. Like when they're doing the programming, just making sure that the kids are present during the program. That would be like the main focus of yours. Thank you.
Okay. And you want to go? Yep.
Yep. You ready for the next one?
Yes. So this schedule is partners, but also activities that your staff or yourself may come up with. So again, from that 9 a.m. to 9:30, we're going to sign in and sanitize. We'll do literacy. That didn't change. So if you go to Monday at 10 a.m. to 10:30, we have art with Ms. Megan, and obviously you guys would put your own staff's name in, but Ms. Megan is going to lead a wonderful art lesson with the kids. From 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m., we have Monday Madness. So that could be anything. I know in one of, when I was a provider, one of our things that the children loved were to have their own businesses or sports or something like that. So you can create your own fun activity, maybe relay races with your children. And then Game On Philly, sanitize and snack and sign out. For Tuesday, we have a regular schedule that kind of mimics the partnership schedule. For Wednesday, we have Wacky Wednesday. So a lot of people do Minute to Win It. One of the things that the children are loving right now is TikTok. So we have dance with Mrs. Bowie. So that could be hip hop dance. If one of your staff really loves dance and wanted to lead their own dance lesson, we want to make sure that we're doing things that the kids are really enjoying that relates to them. So Thursday is also the same schedule. And then Friday, we have Freestyle Friday. So that could be karaoke, or that could be anything. That could be show and tell. That could be anything that the youth want. That's really like a fun way of saying like choice. And then water play and water ice, if that is an option for you in your program. Are there any questions about that? All righty. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kiara and Megan. And once again, I just want to say this is about offering some ideas and suggestions. This is not a requirement. You do not have to do any of these things, but we wanted to offer some grab and go sort of ideas for schedules. The exact hours are not the exact hours. Everyone is creating their own schedule, working with their own programs and their own times based on what their families need. But we wanted to sort of give you some framework to work off of if you didn't already create something and you wanted that extra support. And so thank you so much, Megan and Kiara. And Megan mentioned this, and I just want to reiterate it. Any of this content, we still rely on your group leaders to activate that content. So the video and the instructions might be from Fleischer, but how you introduce that art lesson, how you debrief that art lesson with the students, from having them share what they make to even with like Game on Philly, how you use that activity, I think is really important. And your group leaders are experts at this. And so we just want to encourage you that it's a partnership with your staff. It is grab and go content, so they don't have to write their own lessons, but they still have to activate those lessons. And, you know, you all already know this is old hat for you, but because of the short turnaround time, we wanted to give some extra resources, some additional ideas, and some stuff that's really easy for you to grab and go. So I'm going to move on. Is there any questions? We have time for maybe one or two questions if there is anything. Anything coming up in the chat?
I had a question, Ian. As we're required now to turn in our lessons every 2 weeks, will we still be required to do so for summer camp as well, too?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yep, your schedules will be due. I'm not sure if they're going to ask for 2 weeks again or for 4 weeks or the full summer. I'm not sure, but it's probably going to be very similar.
Okay. And it's still going to be using that same portal?
Yes.
Okay.
Great question. Thank you. All right, I'm going to jump into the last few slides. All right, this is where we left off. And then in person. Program supplies. Okay, I have just this little number, June 24th. All right, so we are trying to work to leverage some resources to get program supplies either sent to your to a identified program site or identified location if you do not have a program site, and or directly to students. So in order to do that, we need to have updated addresses for enrolled students for summer. So our hope is that everyone can get as many of the students enrolled by June 24th. The reason for June 24th is related to program supplies. In order for us to get those addresses and turn around, get supplies and turn it around, we need to have at least a week before folks are getting started. And June 24th is our magic number. So what does that mean for you? We are hoping that you have a pretty good idea about who is going to participate in your summer program. And we're hoping that most of your recruitment efforts can be wrapped up by June 24th so that we can get you as much as possible before you start program. We understand that some students are going to be enrolling throughout the summer, and that's absolutely okay. But we want to make sure that we can get you as many program supplies as possible. And so what we're hoping to do is send home some basic things like scissors and glue stick and paper and markers. And we are hoping to send the early elementary students, the K to 3s, some books, and the 4th and 5th graders, some comics. And we have a few things lined up for things like Highlights Magazine, as well as some of the wellness activity kits that we're hoping to push out. Now, as you're getting ready for summer, we are as well trying to leverage any resource that we can to get that pushed out. So at the end of this week, I'm going to hand it over to Samantha to talk a little bit about what we need in terms of decision making and information. But supplies, program supplies, are directly connected to our push for enrollment deadline of June 24th. We will definitely keep you posted on what we are able to do, but if folks can have conversations with their own agencies about if they are not doing, like, where would you want your program supplies to go if you're doing in person, or would you like to drop them off in a no contact drop off and you're going to have them delivered to, if you are usually at a school and you have another location that you're working out of, like an office, do you want them delivered to the office? So I want everyone to kind of start thinking about what makes sense for them, and you have a couple of days to have some conversations about that as well. In person is obviously a little bit easier because you will have a location, and so we can get the program supplies sent to your location. But for folks doing virtual, it's a little more complicated, especially if you are a school-based provider. So I'm going to hand it over to Samantha real quickly to sort of get into this last part about connecting with partners and letting us know what your hope and intention is. Sam?
Hi, everyone. So for connecting with partners, we're asking that you respond to a survey that we will send out to you at the end of this week. So take some time this week to participate in the workshops so that you're able to, yeah, it's my daughter, Sophia. She says she wanted to say hi to everybody. So just take some time to respond to the survey. After you learn about what each of the resources are, what we have available, and what we're putting together for you, answer the survey to indicate which ones that you're interested in working with and that you want to include in your programming. And then that way, that'll help us gauge how much we can, or how many to connect you with. And then we also are going to ask for, like Ann said, the address of where we should send those kits and those program supply boxes, as well as making sure that you get the enrollment in so we can get those books out to the kids. And as far as the grade levels that we're providing, like Ann said, like middle school will get comic books, so we'll have books that are set for the ages of the kids, and we'll just pull from your city span data so that way we know how many of each to send out to those to the kids. And then with that, as you're planning your programming, your program liaison will support your site by helping you get access to the supply boxes. So they'll help navigate that process if there's a bump or if you need additional support in some way. How to apply the lessons from the partners. So let's say you want to use hip hop fundamentals, being able to support you in how to fit it into your program, whether you're doing virtual or you're doing in person, and then providing a centralized resource link, and as well as in just the overall support in designing your summer program.
Great. All right. Head back here. So we just have a few more minutes, and I just wanted to spend that time thanking you for tuning in and encouraging you to jump onto any session that you are even slightly interested in. And then on Friday, please sign up to, when you get that link, when you get the survey link, fill out any partner you are even thinking about working with, because then you will get their content. They will send it straight to you. They will say, this is what we're going to, here's some videos, here's some ways to adapt the videos, here's some lessons. And it's better to have it and not use it than not have it and miss that opportunity. So please, I know that some of the providers, some of these partners might be providing additional things as well. I'm not sure the details on it, but they will talk to you about that during their session. And then on Friday, we'll send out the survey to gather what partnerships and information you want more of. If anything is you're not quite sure, please feel free to reach out to your program liaison. If after this session you're like, where are the links? Email your program liaison. They will send you the whole course listing for the next 3 days. And we can make sure that you get what you need. So I think there is one question. And again, 1 o'clock, Karis is going to be meeting with the executive directors and anyone else who can, jump in on that to answer contract related questions. So I know that there's been a number of meetings about it and the number has changed. And so I want to make sure that you get your contract questions answered from Karis directly. And so she has been collecting that information, and we'll take a look at the chats right now and share that with her as well. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the time with each other at the lunches and connecting with the different partners. And I am actually really excited about the kids are going to be so excited to do anything that I feel like it's going to be. Look at that. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your time, and we'll connect again soon. Bye.
Anne, I have a question. I'm sorry. My hand raised. In last week's meeting, you said, or you guys said 15 to 18 hours of weekly content and then 7.5 hours of structured activities. We wanted to get clarity on what the weekly content was, and then what are you guys considered as structured activities? Yes.
Okay, I can answer the structured activities, but the The number of hours had changed a couple of times, so I'm going to let that come from Karis directly, because it is different for in-person or virtual. And so folks have different, there's a different fee structure for in-person and virtual, and there's different requirements for in-person and virtual. So I want to make sure that that gets addressed through the official contracting. But structured and unstructured, structured is live, is a engagement that is live. That can happen on a Zoom, that can happen on a an app. There's a number of apps that happens with. You could probably do something like a conference call as well. It doesn't have to be video, but it does need to be live. We want to stay away from content that is passive. So content that is just something that students watch and they don't engage with, because then it's just watching YouTubes or TV. But if they watch something and then you debrief that activity with them and you talk about what they watched and they share with their peers what they liked, they didn't like, how they reacted, what that is the structured activity. So that's the place where you activate the lessons.
Perfect.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, that's what we've been doing. We just wanted to be clear if it's looking the same this summer.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. And if anyone does not have, if their families do not have access to a computer or the internet, please let your program liaison know as soon as possible. The school district is still giving out computers, and I know that Philadelphia School Partnerships is giving out computers to charter schools and Catholic schools. So there shouldn't be any reason for a student not to have a computer. The internet is a different issue that we're running into, but we want to reduce the number of barriers.
Okay. And the school district is providing computers and technology to students even in the summer?
Yes. Yes. Their loaner laptops should be carrying through the summer. There has been some back and forth about access with the internet. There has been some challenges for the school district, but if your family is experiencing those challenges, please let your program liaison know so that we can elevate it to our contacts at the school district. Because sometimes we don't find out about them until, you know, it's July and the schools kind of wrapped up their distribution system. So we really want to make sure that every student has the technology they need for the summer now, and they are all allowed to use those loaner laptops throughout the summer.
What could we do with the seniors that have had to return their technology?
Oh, that's a great question. Can you send that question to your program liaison and CC myself and Samantha, and we'll see if we can get an answer for it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And the school that they're at.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. I'm going to keep taking a few more questions if there is one. Oh, my hand is raised. Is there a hand up?
Yes.
Me raising. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So my question was, my team and I have been really trying to get our recruitment going and get our numbers up for this program.
Yep.
The question is I guess attendance. I know attendance is a big factor in
Payments.
yes.
Yep.
Will we be penalized?
Yeah.
For our attendance?
Yes. You definitely need to address attendance for sure. And I think that reach out to your program liaison, and I would set up an appointment about like, just can we talk through recruitment? And I know that a number of the folks who are going to do in person will not be able to serve all of their students, and there's probably going to be some referrals internally. And I think that, you know, every community has their challenge. And so I do not know what you're facing. And I think that just doing a little bit of a brainstorm around that with your program liaison would be the best first place to start. But yes, you definitely want to make sure that you're getting your slot amount attending at least twice.
Because we're going virtual.
Yep. So I would say that reach out to your program liaison. We had a lunch and learn. I'm not sure if you were there, but there was a lot of great ideas about connecting to the school, connecting to the teachers, connecting to some of the folks like within the school that you were in. And we had a handful of folks had a number of different strategies that they tried. And so I would just reach out to your program liaison and just set up a time to talk through some options and make some plans.
Okay. And
It's
students have to attend twice a week, right, to meet our
twice a month.
Twice a month.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very low benchmark.
Okay.
Yeah, it's twice a month, not twice a week. It's a good question. All right, so there's a couple more questions about applications and city span, and Samantha is tackling those. And we will hopefully grab any remaining questions and bring them to the executive director meeting. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate your time. Enjoy your beautiful day. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Hey, Miss Gail. Miss Gail? Can you hear me? It's Woody. I just was saying hi. How you doing? Good, good. It's good seeing you. I guess we have to hang up, so I'm gonna talk to you later. I think you on mute, Miss Gail. Oh, I guess everybody's on mute that's still here.